Hello, so my name is Katie, and the app that I picked to kind of teach you guys about is Zap Zap Math. Basically, Zap Zap Math is a program that a teacher can access through their computer and a kid can access through their iPad through the App Store. So basically, Zap Zap Math is a collection of math activities geared towards kids in kindergarten through sixth grade, and they're aligned with Common Core standards, so most of the kids should find that it matches up with what they're learning in the class. I picked this because I really wanted to focus on something math because I feel like sometimes, especially in the 5th and 6th grade, it's kind of can get hard with like fractions and stuff to visually see it. And when kids get these little fun games, they get more excited about it and they want to do it. So basically, you basically just search up zapzapmath.com and you sign in as a teacher. So I've already created an account, so I'm just going to type that in real quick. And then it will bring you to your profile page. So basically, create a classroom. So we're going to name this First Bell Math. And then, like I said, I'm doing middle childhood education, math and science. So it would be around 4 through 9, so let's just do 5th grade. So I created a class. Fun thing about it is you can control what you want the students to see and what the students are. So on your path, you actually get to create the students. So let's say I have John Brown, and I add him. And then it gives me his username and his password. So when he goes on the app, he can just type in these. So like as a teacher, I could print off I could write it down, or I could print off a little thing of that, and bam, they would just have to sign that in when they sign into the app. So basically what you can do with this is you can look at the data that you've collected through the kids doing their work. Now clearly I don't have any data because I don't actually have any real students, but right here you can see the week's progress, skills mastered, students in progress this week. And then you can also look at the participants. So I only have John because I just added John. And then you also get to see the class code, and you can share that class code with the students so then they can type that in when they get on the app. And I'll show the app in just a little bit through the student's point of view. And then you can also, this is the main part. So they call it creating playlists. So you're going to create a playlist. So you're going to go to create playlist, math standard, Common Core. Best thing about that is it aligns with the standards. Like we said, it was 5th grade, and let's say we want to do, like I said before, fractions. Next. They provide you with so many different games that you can play, and you simply just click on it, and it's added to your games. And then the best thing is you can sign a due date, so these kids can get this work done by the end of the week. So let's just say I did Friday. And then you can say how long. So let's just say, let's give them 24 hours to finish it. So now the greatest is created. So now the kids, when they get into the group, they get a notification that this app is due and how long they have. So on yours, you can look at finished playlists. We don't have any because that one's not finished yet because it's not due until the end of the week, but it also has current playlists. So you can click on the app, and it gives you all the info, and it says like how many kids have completed it, when's the due date, what game is it, and then you can also look at the student status and see if they've been working. So now I'm going to show you through the student's point of view. So for a student, they would need to search up Zap Math, or the teacher can provide with the website link and simply go from there. But if you go from this, you can just go like this and download the app. Now, before we get onto the app, I kind of wanted to show you some of the pros and cons of this. So I did some research and looked at some reviews of this app. And there are some pros, but there's also some cons. So some of the pros that I really wanted to talk about was, like I said before, it's connected with Common Core. So it's going to go along with your standards, and you don't have to worry about going off of the standards that you need to teach. And also, It's math-based, but there are so many different groupings of math that they provide. So like I was showing through that thing, I went to 5th grade, but you could go to 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and then along with that, they had different options on what you wanted to teach. So of course, I picked fractions. And then another pro that I thought was really good was it's so broad that like there are many options, and it gives it a visual sense and help other learners that are more based on visual learning. So a lot of times with math, it can be hard because sometimes you just see these numbers and you don't really understand it. So like along with like, for example, fractions, you see these fractions, you don't really understand it. You're just like, okay, it's a number over a number. With these apps, in this app particularly, these games can actually see a visual of what they are doing in a fun way. These kids can play different games, whether that be for a grade or not. They can play these games that really make them want to learn math too. With like these fun characters, like they have this map is based on these little aliens that are adorable. But I was also looking at reviews, and there are some cons, like every other thing. And one of the things was the ease to play. So the first con with that was that sometimes there isn't clear instructions and there's no help available when kids get stuck. So this is a responsibility of the teacher to like kind of look into those apps and look into that game that they're going to play and see how do we do it, if there's problems, where would problems occur, and how do we fix those problems. So you have to, as a teacher, you kind of have to go through that and see if you can bump into any problems and how you solve those. Another con was frequently they don't give the correct answer, so it's hard to know how the kids are going to correct it and like correct their mistakes. So as a teacher, if you're going to assign this, I would maybe look into all those questions, of course, but I also look into giving the correct answer, but also giving the right path to each answer. So not just writing down the right answer, but also the path for it so kids can understand it too. And with that, how would I use this in a classroom? I would use this as more of like a review tool. I don't think I'd use this as a teaching tool. I mean, it's going to teach them, but I wouldn't use it as like a first come, first serve. Like first reaction to fractions is through these games. I think I would use it more as like a review thing. So like maybe like a day before the test, we could have a review game day and we'd play games on here and they could ask me questions in person and I could answer them. Now, if I also wanted to send this home, I could send this home and they can work on it at home since it is an app on their iPad. And I can send them home with this and they can write down questions they might have and then maybe review over it the day after. But we always, like I said with those cons, sometimes it doesn't give like clear answers to these things. So we need to make sure we have that space and time for these kids to come back to us and ask questions on it. So now I'm going to show you what the app looks like through a student's point of view. So you click English, you should click Start.
My name is... You can click on another password screen and
So they give this little introduction, and the kids can pick what avatar they want to pick. So that's fun. That gives another little fun thing that they can choose. So basically now you can see that right when they get on the app, they get this little notification that there's a playlist, and that's for me since I did sign up through a student in my app. So this is the little playlist that I created, and once I click OK, I can go to that playlist, and it shows me I have unfinished playlist, so I can click on there and go to the game that I was assigned. So right here is the game that I assigned earlier, and now a kid can physically select it and start playing, and it gives a little option of how they think that they're going to do through 5 stars. Since I want to use this as a review tool, I hope that they're at maybe 4 or 5 before they start the game, but it's totally okay if they're not. This is used as a helpful tool. Okay, so now we're starting the game. So right as they open, it shows you how to play and what you should do for the game. and then you start playing. Now I'll fast forward through this and I'll say little comments in between, but basically this is what the kid's gonna do when they play the game. So then once you're done with the game, it kind of shows your completeness, and it shows how you've gotten better, what stage are you at, what stage at the 5 stars are you at, what stage are you compared to other kids in your classroom, what reward you got, which is pretty cool. A kid can look at that and see how much they've learned. And then you can go back to the main menu and see if you have any other assignments. But the other cool thing is you can actually go to your grade level and look up different topics that you might be struggling with. So even though a teacher might not assign you a problem, you can actually look at the different things and see what kind of game you want to play, just for some more review.